Hello. Oh, you can hear me now. I don't have to scream at everyone. That was the Bigfoot Trap World Premiere. Let's bring up our guys. There we go.
Yo, can I just say right off the bat, so this is the first time I've ever shown one of my movies in public. Normally we make them real low budget, we put them out to the audience, right? So I didn't know what this experience would be like, but my favorite part was watching people try to decide when to pee. That was fun. I feel bad for the people that got it wrong. Someone was peeing when you blew your head off, and I was like, somebody got it wrong. They didn't see it coming. They didn't see it coming.
So introduce yourselves real quick here, and I know you, especially you have a long list of things that you're responsible for, but let everyone know who you are and what you have going on with this movie.
I'm Aaron Mirtes. I am the writer, director, producer, editor, sound mixer, colorist, VFX, all of it. Yeah, this is Zach Hoffman and Red Wilson in the.
Hell yeah! So I overheard you earlier. The largest screen you'd seen this on, the largest screen was like 10 foot. So how does it feel now doing your world premiere and seeing it on a big screen with an audience?
Yeah, so I was losing sleep over that because you mix sound with headphones on, which is like looking at it under a microscope. And so you don't know, I didn't know if a big theater screen would be flattering or not flattering. Thankfully, a big screen is very flattering, and the blasting sound, it smooths out some of those rough edges. I'm like, well, this is great.
Hell. We're struggling a little bit with the microphones. That's all right. So tell me about your history with Bigfoot. Like, in that, I want to know a little bit about, because I know this movie's been cooking for a long time.
Yeah. But
then when it was actually executed, it was just bam, bam, bam. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. If this mic gets out, I'll just shout it. So
I feel like shouting.
Just shout. There's only like it. So I've always been obsessed with Bigfoot, and I always had this idea. I heard stories of alien abductions, right? And I thought there were witnesses to this alien abduction, so either it was real or somebody faked their own alien abduction. So I started writing the story about someone faking their own alien abduction, but then aliens were too plausible, right? The people that believe in aliens are either like, yeah, it took me right out of my Meemaw's house, or it's like a scientist, it's like a well-respected scientist. So Bigfoot had that perfect degree of plausibility. And so I'd been cooking it up, and then I discovered the actual Bigfoot trap in Oregon, right? It was just like that. And by chance, too, I meet the woman of my dreams. Things are going great. I'm going to meet her parents. I say, where do your parents live? She says, oh, Rogue River, Oregon, 30 minutes from the Bigfoot trap. So I got to go see it. I got to see how it was built and what it was like. And, then my boss for the studio I was working for got sick. We were making mockbusters and things like that. And I didn't know if I had a job. And so I just took that time to write this script. I thought I can make it left for like $5,000, if I need to. That's kind of what I'm used to. And then he did get sick, and I lost my job. And so I just started showing the script around, and then Glass House saw it. I met Tom. He was aware of my movies, and he was like, dude, let's do it. So we did it for $38,000 in 15 days, and a crew of 4 or 5. And from writing to delivery, it was 4 months. So I haven't even watched this since October. We shot it in August. I finished it by October.
That is so awesome. Another thing that I really want to talk about is the moral ambiguity and then the ride that we go on with these characters. The Josh character, I was rooting for Red the entire movie.
Yeah.
Red snorting coke and off in the cop, and I'm still like, I get it. Like, I'm still with him. Like, so where did you go to find that balance between somebody, who's so desperate to prove himself in what he knows to be real to this unbelieving world? Yeah. Where did you go to find your inspiration?
Yeah, well, one of the challenges when you approach work as an actor is to not judge your character, especially if they do something that you wouldn't do, right? And everybody in your life, you are confident about the reasons why you choose to do and say the things that you do and say, and you don't judge that about yourself. You try, but you're biased to your own view. So coming from a place of seeing from Red's perspective and everything that comes to this point in his life, this boiling point where it's, I'm finally going to catch Sasquatch, I'm finally going to prove myself right. It's actually easy to sell yourself on that once you immerse yourself in the story. So from an acting standpoint, it was just brilliantly written. It was very clearly like, I mean, there's the place of hurt that Red has. He was traumatized by his father, traumatized by people in his vicinity, his school. He loses his, we didn't get into it in the film very much, but he kind of loses relationship with his mom really early on, and he has a sister. There's all these things that make Red who he is, and that rich life that Aaron developed.
We just sat down and talked about it. Like from the beginning, I sat down, I wrote it for Zach, right? I met him at a bar, and I had this idea, and I was like, you're it, you're Red. And I told him from the beginning, I'm like, this is Red's story. Josh is the straight man, he's the protagonist, but Red's experience is a lot of my experience. You know, obviously you put hella pepper and salt on it and make it interesting. Yeah, abusive father and things like that. But that bullying, that story of bullying in a lot of Red's monologue is personal. And so you just take that, then you build on it to make it interesting for an audience, you know, because, so.
Right, and it's actually funny, you mentioned the thing, we had met 5 years before that, 4 years, something like that, at a Nashville Film Festival. Had never met each other. We met at the after party.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got a film idea that I want you to be in at some point. And I was like, yeah, right, yeah, whatever. And then here we are.
Yeah, I know. Like years later,
which is insane.
You never know who you're gonna meet these things.
Right. But all in all, the point is I did dip into personal trauma and things that I'm dealing with to approach this role. And really, just the rich backstory that came from personal experiences from Aaron's own life gave me everything. It was so rich, it gave me everything I needed to be sold on Bigfoot. And I actually am a believer now.
Yeah. So what's next for this film?
So we sold to a major streamer, which we're really stoked about. So that'll be on that streamer in August. We're still letting the ink dry before we announce it. It comes out on DVD and VOD, TVOD, May 1st. So it's really soon. And I just wrapped my next movie, which is a science fiction movie, and I start my next movie in about 3 weeks. So I'm just moving through these, churning them out, and you know, some come out better than others, but that's part of the game. I love practicing. That's kind of, when I meet filmmakers, I really want to encourage them. Like, this is something that takes practice. This is my 8th movie, and it's like, my first one wasn't good. Like, my 3rd one was my first decent one. My 6th one was the first one that I felt okay showing to people. And this is the first one that I feel comfortable showing on a screen. You know, it takes time, it takes practice.
Real quick from the audience, did anyone have anything specifically they wanted to talk about or ask these guys while we have them? Right here?
Yeah. Do you still have those t-shirts?
Yeah. So
I actually brought one. I almost
First thing
I made my girlfriend Gabby and I. We made it in my apartment the night before shooting because we needed a pile of them. Red tossed one to Josh, but I gave one to each of the cast and crew for the production. But yeah, we had a pile of them handmade. It was spray paint. We did a stencil and just spray painted that on it.
It started fading over time. You can notice different points in the movie where they're
more faded than others.
little Easter eggs.
I love the t-shirts. I love the t-shirts. It, to me, was just a big personality point in the movie. I like it went directly against all the southernness of the movie. Making this movie authentic to where I grew up is so important. And they used to make like Burt Reynolds movies, like Southern action movies. What happened to Southern cinema? Like, this is a story about LA. I'm like, there are a lot of stories about LA. Where are my Nashville stories? So, you know.
In Bigfoot culture, the tie-dye thing is right on.
Yeah, it is. It's very hippie. It's very P&W, and there is a Southern Bigfoot culture, and I wanted to explore that a little bit. Carolinas, Georgia, things like that.
What did they call them in Florida again?
Skunk apes.
Yes,
that's true.
That's real
100% true.
Apparently they stink terribly.
Yeah.
They're smaller too.
So where can we find you guys if we want to follow the film or if we want to follow you guys in your next projects?
Just my name on Instagram, at Aaron Mirtes, AARONMIRTES.
Same thing for me, at Zach Hoffman on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, all the platforms. Well, you can look me up on IMDb and all that. Happy to connect. I love talking.
Yeah, we're both extroverts, so you could just come up to us.
All day, baby. Let's go.
I don't know if anyone was downstairs last night.
He did a
Billy Joel New York State of Mind, and I was like,
The big guy?
I'm like elbowing Liz, my wife. I'm like, this one can sing. Like,
he was funny. You work
Before
with
Adam shredded our eardrums doing Bohemian Rhapsody, I was like,
you work with an actor for so long, you become their friend. I've known Zach for years, and I didn't know he could sing. You know, and so then he goes up, he shreds New York. I was surprised as you were. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, where did this come from?
well, I want to thank you guys for sharing
Thank
this
you.
movie with us. Thanks for coming to Candy Fest. Very excited to see what you guys have in
Yeah.
store for us because both of you have a bright future ahead of you. So,
Thank you.
congratulations and
Thanks
to
for
you all
watching. Can we just get a round of applause for Zach?